Welcome to Osseo High School for the Section 6 Class 4A Boys Basketball Semifinals. Our first game tonight matches the number 4 seed, the St. Louis Park Orioles, and the number 1 seed, the Wayzata Trojans. Hi, I'm Jay Wilcox, along with Ariel McDonald, the head coach at Providence Academy. And great year for Wayzata. They've lost only 3 games. They earned that number 1 seed over Hopkins, which doesn't happen an awful lot. They've got a lot of shooters, a good overall team. Certainly the favorite today, but when it's playoff time, you have to come ready to play.
You know, when it's playoff time, anything is possible. It's the end of the season. Both teams really trying to end their season well. And I'm sure for Wayzata, obviously a number 1 seed, but they're going to have their hands full. They can't take for granted that St. Louis Park is going to lay down. St. Louis Park being the underdog, looking to overtake Wayzata tonight.
They played during the regular season. Wayzata won by 17, but there was a big asterisk by that. St. Louis Park was without 2 of their best players. I'm sure that gives them a little confidence that, okay, this one might be a little bit different this time around.
Oh, yeah, big time. I mean, when you're missing 2 of your best players, that's always something of an Achilles heel. But, you know, Wayzata, they're a well-groomed team. They're very, very organized. They always seem to know how to adjust to anything that's on the table. So I'm sure St. Louis Park is feeling optimistic about this opportunity, but Wayzata also is a very strong team, class act team.
Talk about key players to look at in this evening's game, starting with the Orioles. Michael Howard's one of their veteran guys, one of their leaders, and among a pretty good group of guards.
You know, Howard, he's an athlete, you know, one of their better athletes. He's going to have his hands full trying to handle Baumgartner tonight, but they really, really believe that he can control him. And if some of those St. Louis Park guards can really help on dribble drive opportunity, hedge on screens for these Wayzata shooters, it should be all right.
Gavin Baumgartner's had a great year for Wayzata, leads them at about 16 points per game. The one thing that's nice about him is he's not just a shooter. He's got size at 6'5". He can get to the bucket a little bit or get some of those putbacks, things like that also.
You know, you said it well. He's one of those guys that you can move around the floor. He can play point guard, he can play the 2, the 3, the 4, and if they get into foul trouble, he's got the heart and soul to defend a 5-player too. So he's a tremendous, tremendous talent on this team. But Wayzata, they're full of talent. I mean, they share the ball, they move the ball well. Everyone has the green light to shoot the open shot. So let's see if St. Louis Park can handle them tonight.
Right here in this gym a year ago, Wayzata came in as considered the favorite against Cooper in the semis. They were knocked out. Their guys remember that. They have a little extra resolve this year to make sure that it doesn't happen again.
Nothing like having that bad taste in your mouth, and coaches always articulate that, especially when you have an outcome like they had. So Wayzata looking to take that next step, try to put themselves in the final of this section.
St. Louis Park hoping for the upset. It would be one of their bigger wins in basketball in recent years. Wayzata trying to take care of business. Stay tuned, we'll tip off in just a moment, and then later it's game 2 as Hopkins and Cooper meet up here in the Section 6 tournament.
They said a bottle was just a bottle. That no one would ever notice me. But I knew I could be more. That one day, I would make people smile.
Welcome back here to Osseo as we get set to tip off this Section 6 semifinal game. St. Louis Park, a close victory to get here as they beat Washburn by 2. You always expect that 4 or 5 seed game maybe to be the best one of the bunch in the early going, and that was definitely true as they pulled out that 2-point win. Wayzata, meanwhile, not much trouble at all as they took care of South in the first round and had no difficulty doing so. So we'll look at starters, starting with the Orioles. Dave Breitenbucher, here's the lineup he'll put out today. Again, they were missing 2 of these guys when they played Wayzata earlier this year. Michael Howard, Aiden Doherty, Kyrie Mayfield, Joey Whitlock, and Ryan Dahmers for St. Louis Park. A quick team, not a ton of size, and Wayzata not a ton of size either. Jacob Benega, Ryan Lindbergh, Drew Gallinson, Gavin Baumgartner, and then their one big man inside that can bang around a little bit is Alex Jensen. Wayzata pretty much, a lot of seniors in this lineup too, and that makes, the incentive extra strong, I think, when you're trying to reach that state tournament. They're definitely a team that has the capability to do so. They split 2 games with Hopkins earlier this year, and they're feeling that they could see that again, or they could perhaps see Cooper if they could pull the upset like they did the other night when they beat Armstrong. And you see what happened a year ago. They won easily in the first round, but were upset by Cooper here on this court in the semifinals a year ago. And last year, the Orioles lost their first game against Armstrong. So, you have to take things step by step a little bit. For them to even just be in the Final Four is a pretty good thing for their program for St. Louis Park. It's not easy even to get this far.
It really isn't, because at this time of year, everyone wants to win. And so for the Orioles to kind of, finish their season, 14-13, you would think, maybe they'd probably check out first round of the section, but they're hanging in there, and that's what basketball is all about, having that opportunity on any given day to compete and win.
Coach Breitenbucher talked about needing to contain the dribble of Wayzata, but also just to be on shooters. I mean, this Wayzata team has shooters pretty much all around. He said we just can't afford to overhelp and give guys really wide open looks, and that's something that, sometimes easier said than done, but that's the game plan coming in.
They have shooters like Wayzata. They have shooters like Lindbergh. I mean, he's a catch and shoot guy. If you give him any daylight, the ball is going in the hoop. So let's see if St. Louis Park can somehow force those Wayzata guards to put the ball on the floor and shoot in between shots.
Doherty controls the opening tip for the Orioles, and we are underway here. Wayzata out man-to-man.
For St. Louis Park, you want to be patient on offense. You don't want to get into an up-and-down game with Wayzata. Maybe try to look to get Bumgarner in some foul trouble, post him up a little bit, and try to provocate a foul. That way, you can maybe get him out the game.
Howard catches it in traffic, looking to back in. Well defended, though. Coach Schnettler from Wayzata said St. Louis Park's interesting in that they push the ball well, but then they are very patient when they do get into their half-court offense. It's a little bit of a contrast. Long first possession. Good defensive possession. We'll see if St. Louis Park can get something good out of it at the end. There is a 3-point attempt that'll go in and out for Joey Whitlock, and the Trojans get their first chance with the ball. Benega. Baumgartner with it out high. Howard defending him. Benega comes out to meet it. Baumgartner will turn and let it rip, and that one's hard off the back of the iron and rebounded by Whitlock for St. Louis Park.
Both teams probably a little nervous early on, so don't expect too many shots to go in, especially from three-point, but that's why you always try to start inside. Throw the ball into the low post, shoot a high percentage shot, maybe get a foul, get to the free throw line to kind of settle those nerves early on.
Obviously, it's a little different scenario too. You're playing in a neutral court. There's no JV game before it or anything, so just the pregame routine is a little bit different when you come into this gym that, for Wayzata, they've played here the last couple of years, but not necessarily for Park. There's a look at Brian Schnettler, the Trojans head coach, has done a very nice job. He got his team to the section final 2 years ago against Champlin Park. They were knocked out by Cooper in the semis that we saw last year. Drew Gallinson puts it on the deck. Now handing over to Baumgartner.
Wayzata will be patient. They will look for dribble drive lanes to try to penetrate, get deep in the paint, try to find an open shooter on the perimeter.
Here's Lindbergh, and it spins around and out. And rebound knocked free and controlled now by Mayfield. Mayfield down the middle, foul before the shot, no basket, as he got a step on the defender and then was held a little bit. There's a look at Dave Breitenbucher, the head coach for St. Louis Park, 7th year. And of course, fans from our northwest suburbs remember back prior to that, he was the coach at Park Center for a time as well. And in our second game tonight, we'll also be seeing a former Park Center coach, Bo Powell, is not Cooper. You get the inbound pass into Doherty, and he kicks it over. Shot fake, and then jumper. Dahmers knocks it down. It's a two-pointer. So first basket of the game after both teams being patient and starting slow shooting. Dahmers finally breaks the deadlock here, and it's 2-zip. Jensen flashes out. He's probably the one guy that you don't really say he's a shooter. You have to guard on the perimeter. Benega, tough shot on the run, won't go. Baumgartner had it. It was knocked away. Jensen then comes down with it. Little floater by Lindberg is short. He was trying so hard to avoid the charge that he left that ball a little short. Whitlock, no. Knocked out of bounds, last touch by Howard, and it will be Wayzata basketball.
Here's number 45. You know, excellent head and shoulder fake there, just getting the guy up in the air, putting the ball on the deck. And if you're Wayzata, that's the guy you want taking shots. You certainly don't want their leading scorers getting involved too early. And you want any kind of perimeter shot from a big man if you're Wayzata.
Double team came to help on. Boy, St. Louis Park's locked in defensively early here. Lindberg will stop and fire. No good. Gallinson trying to keep it alive, but Howard up with it, throwing it ahead. Mayfield for the layup. It's good.
Good start right there for the Orioles as they get out in fast break. Wayzata has to make sure that they get back because the Orioles, they're a little smaller, a little quicker. So they want to make sure they get back.
Benega down the baseline in traffic. No, he gets it back, though, and scores. Didn't give up on it after a tough first attempt. Doherty with it. Kicks it across. Dahmers wants another one. Bounces around and in. This one is a three.
He made the first one, so now he's feeling himself.
7-2 early lead here for St. Louis Park. Lindberg down low. Gallinson flashes free, scores and one.
Trojans are going to stay patient on offense. They run something similar to a flex, but it's varied a little bit where they've cut through the lane. And so here's an excellent pass and cut opportunities. He reads the defense well. Instead of coming high, he comes low, catches the guy backdoor with his eyes closed.
Mitchell Faust checks in, number 45 for the Trojans, as Jensen will get a breather. Faust out 6'6" and active down there. So Gallinson will try and complete a three-point play here for Wayzata.
And Gallinson, he's one of those intangible guys. He really just looks for open opportunities and is very, very patient, allows the offense to cook a little bit, but he will take advantage if you're sleeping.
And he's a little more athletic than maybe I think you realize. He kept the ball alive a couple times. Pretty good leaper as well. There's Ben Gross, who comes in, number 3 for Wayzata.
Gross is their energy guy, okay? He's going to get up in you, climb up in you full court, turn you a little bit. He hustles for all 50-50 balls and keeps the ball alive.
That'll be an offensive foul. Josiah Morrow on the drive as he just checked in for the Orioles, put it on the deck, but the defense got there. So second foul on St. Louis Park, first on Morrow, obviously, as he had just checked in. Benega bringing it up this time for Wayzata. Back cut by Lindberg. Layup is good after Faust found him.
That's what the Trojans, they always set you up. If they can't get it, a nice catch on the perimeter, they're going to backdoor cut. So the Orioles have to watch that because that's one of those calling cards that the Trojans like to use.
Dahmers up in traffic, no good. Lindberg the rebound. Wayzata coming back. And it slips through Benega's fingers and into the St. Louis Park bench and out of bounds. Richard Green, number 3, will check in for Park.
You know, Benega, he's been leading this Trojan team all season long. Only a sophomore, but plays more like a senior. Very poised young man, knows how to handle the situation, never really gets rattled, and is very aggressive, and is one of their team's leading scorers.
And I like, too, that he's really fearless. He's not a very big guy, height-wise or, body-wise, but he never hesitates to take it into the middle of traffic.
Well, playing out here with these Trojans, all these kids got size, so you learn real quick just how to compete.
Batted away, and it will be off of Baumgartner. He felt that the hands of Green really deflected it away from him, but they say it hit Baumgartner last, so St. Louis Park basketball. 7-7. Wayzata scored 5 in a row after St. Louis Park built an early lead. Knocked away, and here come the Trojans. Baumgartner struggling to get control of it, but then does, and the layup good by Gross.
And that's Gross's job, to run the floor. Any opportunity he has, his job is to get out there and run that floor and finish on the fast break.
Aiden Doherty swinging it across.
It's kind of interesting. Every time St. Louis Park tries to post up, Wayzata's looking to double team. So maybe they're just afraid of maybe that low post player there.
A drive into the lane, and Howard will draw a foul and head to the free throw line. Wayzata just didn't quite get squared up on him, and Faust will pick up that foul. So Howard heads to the free throw line, a 6'2" senior here for the Orioles, who find themselves trailing now 9-7. Free throw is good.
St. Louis Park have many players on their team averaging double figures. I think about 4 or 5 different players. So they're hard to scout. You definitely can't key in on 1 or 2 players. You have to really pay attention to all players on the floor because they all have the capability to score.
Second free throw is good, and while Wayzata definitely has 2 guys, or maybe 3, that have been kind of their go-to scorers a little bit more than others, they're somewhat similar in that they've got pieces all around that you have to have some worry about. So he makes both free throws. 9-9 our score. In there for Wayzata now, Luke Paulson, number 5, another sophomore. Paulson giving it to Baumgartner at the high post here. Has a little bit smaller guy on him now, kicking it out. Here's Gross driving it. Dishing to Faust, and the layup is good. Didn't look like a whole lot of room for the pass or the drive, but they both got it done.
That's Wayzata. That's what they do. They love to dribble penetrate and then try to look for somebody cutting behind the defense or even spotting up around the perimeter as they come on the offensive attack.
Gross dropping it off to Gallinson, and we're going to have an offensive foul. You could kind of see that one coming. He was driving it hard. And Gallinson will be called for the foul. Good job using the baseline there for the defender.
Yeah, you teach young players all the time. You always have a 6th defender, 7th if you count the sideline. So he did a great job just cutting off that play because at that moment it looked like it might be a scoring opportunity for Gross, but he hung in the play there and gave his team that possession back.
Turned over here by the Orioles. Gross then had his pass stolen right back. And all the way for the layup goes Mayfield. Mayfield turned that over and was like, I'm going to make up for that. And he quickly got it back and got the layup.
That's what we tell kids all the time. When you make a turnover, it's no problem. Let's just get the ball back and nothing's happened.
Oh, Mayfield nearly forced another one. Quick hands there. He anticipated that pass. Here's another look. Watch Mayfield gets it. Now watch him turn on the speed here. He wasn't necessarily, clearly ahead of everyone when he got the ball, but he was just as fast with the dribble as anybody else was running after him. So gets the layup.
It'll be interesting if the senior Mayfield playing against these young point guards that Wayzata has. They're in the 10th grade, so Mayfield should use his experience being a senior, playing in many of these games like this. Let's see if he can get the best of them tonight.
Tie ball game here, 11-all. Bryce Hempel in for Wayzata as well now, and it's an over and back violation. They've been a little disjointed offensively here in this first half. Give Park a lot of the credit for that too, but hasn't been the kind of smooth start Wayzata was looking for offensively.
At 10:28, they already have 5 turnovers, so I know that's a concern for Wayzata. They don't want to turn over the ball, and part of what they do is they do take care of the ball. They own each possession, and they make sure that they give themselves a scoring opportunity.
Richard Green bringing it up here. Lindbergh on him. Looking to the bench is Green for the play call here. Gets it to Howard. Paulson is on him. Wants to back him down. Tough floater in the lane, and Paulson rebounds. Paulson pushing it back for Wayzata. He's open for a 3, and in and out. There's Faust up big on the glass, though. Gallinson, the fake, and fires a 3. That's too hard. Rebound knocked around. Last touch by the Orioles is unable to squeeze it. There was Dahmers.
Dahmer's got to make sure he maintains contact, because Faust, part of his job is to battle inside for offensive rebounds, give his team second chance opportunity.
Jensen comes back in to replace Faust now for Wayzata, and he has the ball here, giving it to Lindberg. He'll stop and fire, and he hits. Two-pointer for Lindberg.
Only a 2, but he's always lurking around that three-point line. And I just love to watch his shooting action. He does a really good job getting up and down.
He's puts a lot of arc on the ball too, just a real pure form. Jumper falls short again there for Morrow. Paulson to the trailer, Hempel here. Jensen whipping it down low, and there's Hempel for the layup.
Great find there, keeping the ball alive. And you don't even expect that from your big man to really make a nice pass like that, but that's part of Wayzata. They love to pass and cut, and each player knows how to finish each play. They know where one guy is supposed to be, and Bumgardner, he knows how to work his magic too.
Sometimes, though, you talk about getting an offensive set going or running a specific play, but sometimes it's just being a smart basketball player and diving into that little opening, finding a spot.
This time of year, everyone's going to know what you do. So sometimes you have to think outside the box as an offensive player. If this doesn't work, you have to read and react. And so that was just a great cut there by Bumgardner. But, Wayzata, you can get a sense and a feel of that's the kind of team they are. They share the ball by committee. No one has any ego. They will shoot the open shot, and then they will work together.
Full court pressure coming from Wayzata out of the timeout. 4-point lead for the Trojans. St. Louis Park has had a good start here, though. They're the 4 seed playing the number 1 seed, and it got off to a good start and now have fallen behind by 4. Dahmer is across here to Mayfield. Baseline Doherty with the pull-up, and that's good. His first bucket.
Now I know why they were double teaming him there.
2-point game again after that baseline make by Doherty. Lindberg into the lane, little hanging shot is good. His 3rd basket. Ryan Lindberg has 6. Here's Whitlock with the jumper. It was halfway down, but comes out, and Gallinson will push it back the other way. To Paulson, he stops and fires a 3, and it's good.
Don't you love that? The young fella having the heart to pull up on the 3-point line there.
And that's one big change in basketball from maybe 20 years ago where a coach might have said that's not a great shot, but now it's very much a weapon, the 3 out of a fast break situation. Here's Whitlock, and he knocks it down. That is a 2, it looks like, for Whitlock. His first bucket. When I asked Coach about him, the first word he said was shooter.
Shooter, that's what he is. I mean, he's up until that shot, he was 0 for 3. But, he's not concerned about that. It's playoff time, so you got to take what the defense gives you.
Looks like they were calling that last one a 3. There's Jensen knocking it down.
That's a good sign. When the big fella can step out and make those nice little 10-foot shot, it will eventually open up that middle for you.
And he's usually a guy that they don't really necessarily run much for. Maybe some little bit of low post stuff, maybe a little bit on the offensive glass. And there's a pass that sails out of bounds. And in one of those partial cuts where he didn't cut hard and Howard thought he was going to. Benega back in, Baumgartner back in here for Wayzata. And the handoff did not work out. Now we get a foul call on Baumgartner trying to get that ball back. Be his first as Howard went in and dove and took it away here. And then Baumgartner grabbed his arm a little bit.
It's playoff time, though, Jay. I think that's a little bit of a tic-tac foul. Let the boys play.
Baumgartner, that was pretty close to us, and you could see the look of surprise in his eye when he heard that it was a foul on him. But
right.
They did get tangled a little bit. Here is Whitlock shooting it up, no good. Benega tracks it down. Lindberg cutting into the middle. Back out, Benega from the top, and it's good for 3.
There's Benega. We've been waiting for him all game long. He's their second leading scorer. But Wayzata, they do an excellent job in turning down sometimes that first shot for the next opportunity, which usually ends up with an open three-point shot.
Biggest lead here, 9 now for the Trojans, and Mayfield gets St. Louis Park headed back in the right direction with his third bucket, 25-18.
Great hedge there, great step-out action.
Lindbergh open for three, and he hits. Lindbergh now with 9 for the Trojans. Back the other way, a little pull-up won't go. Nice offensive rebound, and free throws upcoming here for Jack Lynch, who's in there now for Park.
Penetrating kick over there to Benega, getting his feet set, and then here he repays him, and then there's Lindbergh spotting up. Another three-point shot going down, but that's Wayzata. And if you're the Orioles, you have to locate shooters, because when Wayzata attacks, they don't run to the paint and try to get layups. They space the floor out for dribble drive lanes so someone can get in that paint, attract defense, and now they can find the outside shooter with the extra pass that leads to the extra pass that normally just ends up in a three-point shot.
Yeah, and St. Louis Park was so locked in early defensively, but obviously at times when there's going to be substitutions and whatnot, you kind of they just weren't quite as ready and locked and loaded to stop that shooter. Lynch gets 1 out of 2 for the Orioles. It's a 9-point Wayzata lead. Baumgartner to Jensen, and he'll hand off now. Lindbergh dumping it for Jensen, who was going for the rebound. Didn't see it coming. Return to Howard, and then around to Mayfield, spinning. Off the glass and good. Nice shot, and it might have been fouled a little bit on that spin, it looked like, too.
You saw it there, but he's feeling it now. He's got 8 points. He's trying to keep his team in this game early on, only down 7, 5 minutes to go. They got to stick to it, play hard defense.
Baumgartner posting up. He exposed the ball a little bit, but they will get a foul call. Coach Breitenbucher felt like he bailed him out a little bit there. Look at that nice move. Just the third foul on St. Louis Park. Whip down low, wide open. Baumgartner, he missed it though. He went with the left hand and couldn't finish. He does get it back, however. Benega will shoot it up, in and out. And Jensen might have gotten away with one there, but out off him anyway. It will be St. Louis Park basketball. Coach Breitenbucher pleading for a foul. He can't understand how Jensen wasn't called there.
When coaches look at the scoreboard and they look at the foul count, coach obviously saying it's 5-3. We have to get that call, and if you have any opportunity to get the big fella, especially a guy like Jensen or anyone like that, to get them out the game, you want to do so.
Mayfield catches and shoots. No, but he was fouled by Benega, and he will shoot 3 free throws, I believe. And now it's Coach Schnettler's turn to not be pleased about that one. So Benega will be whistled for the foul.
That's a tough call. I mean, I can understand the coach's fury right there, because sometimes when players shoot, they shoot going forward. But me as a defender, if I also have the right to that spot as well. And so as long as you go straight up on the defensive closeout, then you should be rewarded for it instead of being punished.
First free throw is good. One more coming. Or 2 more coming, I should say, after that 3-shot foul. And the official, in both cases, gave their coach a chance to have their say, and then, then you move on from there.
That's what you want to do. I mean, coaches, they're jacked up right now. They're trying to give their team the best possible situation to win. So it's always important for officials to maintain their cool, especially in this kind of environment.
So 4-point lead now for Wayzata. St. Louis Park getting 3 big free throw makes there by Mayfield, and then the turnover, but they give it back. Gross now loses the handle as well, and it's a 3-on-0. Mayfield will be all alone for the layup.
Mayfield leading his team defensively. It always starts at the defensive end. What was just once a 9-point game now, the Orioles have cut it and made it a 2. And so here's Mayfield playing the passing lanes, and that's kind of an Achilles heel for Wayzata. When their big guys start to dribble and put it on the floor, sometimes it makes them turnover prone. And St. Louis Park, they got those small guards. They're going to get in your cookies. They're going to try to dig, get any kind of loose balls, try to smack the ball and just kind of scatter. That's the way they're going to have to try to win this game if they're going to be the winners.
Nice surge right back into it here for the Orioles as they had seen the lead grow up to around double digits, and now, as Ariel said, back to within 2, and they're feeling, boy, Mayfield has really had a nice start to this game.
Yeah.
13 points already.
Oh yeah, and it's just it's only 4 minutes to go in the first half, so he's leading his team. He's showing up to play tonight, but what I like what he's doing, he's starting it from the defensive end and not trying to create things from the offensive end.
Paulson will bring it up court here for Wayzata.
Look for a backdoor here. Wayzata's very good coming out of timeouts. They execute to perfection out of timeout to get the shot that they want.
Paulson giving it to Baumgartner, knocked loose briefly, gets it back.
And here you see the prowess of Howard. Howard, that athleticism, very, very aggressive on that ball, has caused the last 3 turnovers for Wayzata.
And it will be St. Louis Park ball after a mighty battle for that rebound. Paulson was way off, and then they scrap for it underneath. Dahmers comes back in for St. Louis Park. Mayfield bringing it up court, a chance to tie or take the lead with a 3 here for St. Louis Park. Trying to take out the top seed Wayzata. Mayfield had it knocked loose on the way up. Gross will leave it for Paulson.
I don't know if there's Vaseline on that ball, but for Wayzata, they've had a difficult time handling that basketball.
I was just thinking the same thing as they came up court. It's almost like it's less inflated than they're used to or something. And it actually, Park has had a couple times too where it's looked like that a little bit. Baumgartner into the lane. Nice defense, cuts him off. Now he flashes free, but passed it up. Round to Gross, and he will shoot it and hit.
That's a good sign. You know, Wayzata been struggling. Gross able to knock down that mid-range shot there. That was a much-needed basket for Wayzata.
4-point lead again now for the Trojans. Richard Green handling with Gross on him. Back out top, and they'll reset with Howard. Baseline drive, foul drawn as Dahmers went up in traffic. And he will head to the free throw line.
Dahmers with the good pump fake there and using that meat and potatoes to try to get closer and closer to the basket. Try to get those Wayzata guys in foul trouble.
Faust will pick up his second.
So now Faust with his second. We got Jensen on the bench right now. Now they have Baumgartner at that 4 position. Probably going to try to open up the floor so they can get some more shots. But Jensen's entering the game now as Faust goes back to the bench. But that's what you want to do with the Orioles. Put pressure on those big men to at least slide in front of you or contest your shot. But most importantly, try to finish strong around the rim.
Dahmers was not particularly close on the first free throw. His second one upcoming here. And that one looking much better, and he sinks it. So he has 6 points now. It's a 3-point lead for Wayzata. 2:40 to go now in this first half. Paulson into the lane, kicks it over to Lindbergh. Contested 3, no good, and a foul on Wayzata on the rebound as Bryce Hempel pushed off, and St. Louis Park's been asking for that on a few other occasions. Wayzata, a couple of guys, Faust and Jensen and Hempel, real aggressive going after balls under there.
And the Orioles, they've been battling, really hard underneath that basket. It's very, very difficult to box out these big guys for Wayzata. And that sometimes can wear you down, but all you got to do is just get your body against the guy, take out his legs, and now he can't jump. Free throw is good. Yeah,
the hips and the butt are the most important parts of a blockout. You get into their legs, and then all of a sudden those leapers aren't leapers anymore. And I'm not talking about illegal thing either. Just a good box out.
Yep. Fundamental box out.
Morrow goes 1 out of 2, so 30-28 Wayzata. Hempel swings it across to Paulson. Jensen calling for it inside. Dishes to Paulson and bounces around and drops. So your 6'7" guy drops it off to the little 5'10" sophomore guard in the lane.
And Jensen, he had a little on him. You know, I would have thought he would have just been patient, let him cut through the basket. And Wayzata, they're going to need some of those points. They need low post play to create a balanced attack. And that will open up some of those three-point shots that they like.
Shot fake by Green. Now his pass knocked away, but it's a foul on Wayzata as Green got knocked down hard. It'll be Jensen picking it up. And probably fortunate for St. Louis Park because he was kind of caught up in the air without a good passing angle, but he did get bumped.
Yeah, he kind of got bailed out there. If Wayzata just maybe would have maintained a vertical plane there and just kept their hands up, maybe they would have gotten a deflection or a block. But, you know, they got to make that slide because the Orioles, they have guards, and they're going to continue to attack you at every cost. So Wayzata's got to slide their feet a little bit better.
And you don't ever want to say you know that you concede a shot, but when you realize that the guy's got a difficult shot, that's when you want to make sure you're not fouling.
Yep.
Second free throw is also good, so Richard Green knocks down a pair here for St. Louis Park, and they are back to within 2 now at 32-30. Lindbergh, well defended by Green, but he gets into the paint, turns, and floats it up and in. Lindbergh, a nice move there after he was cut off initially. And then Baumgartner bats this one away. It will stay with Park.
On that last play, Lindbergh had every intention to go score. You could tell when he came off that high screen and roll, he reverse dribbled, went inside that lane, and he was determined to give his team a basket there.
Whitlock inbounding here for the Orioles, and will throw it long into the backcourt.
I hate that, Jay. When you can take the ball and throw it to the other half of the court, just kills your defense.
Whitlock across to Howard. Minute 10 to play in this first half, and it has been a good one. 34-30, number 1 seed Wayzata leading 4th seed St. Louis Park here in the Section 6 4A semis. We'll also have the Cooper Hopkins semi-final for you on CCX Sports.
Looks like the Orioles are going to try to milk this clock and keep this lead, at least keep this deficit at 4. Maybe if they get a good dribble drive lane or an open backdoor cut layup, maybe they'll take that, but that's probably smart on their part. Keep the momentum in their favor because right now it does look like St. Louis Park, the Orioles, have all the momentum going.
Here's the drive into traffic. Baumgartner the block, and they'll push it back the other way. Turns, shoots the 15-footer, but it's way short. Mayfield the rebound. Defender falls there.
Wow.
And now Morrow will shoot it up. No good. There's Howard, a nice rebound in traffic, and scores off the window.
There's Howard. That's his job. Keep plays alive. Be aggressive. Give his team second chance opportunities. And here he goes with the steal from half court.
Oh! Wow, he had a great ending to the half as it was, and if that one had gone in, that would have been spectacular.
That whole gym would have went crazy.
So a great ball game at halftime here. St. Louis Park hanging right with number 1 seed Wayzata. Our halftime score, Trojans 34, Orioles 32. We'll have first half highlights and more for you here on CCX Sports.
I see you mobbing over her. Let's go. Let's mob. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, we mobbing. Come on, girl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Boom. Hey, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Boom.
Welcome back here to Osseo High School. Along with Ariel McDonald, MJ Wilcox. 34-32, Wayzata leading St. Louis Park here in the first semifinal in Section 6-4A as we take a look at some first half highlights. And definitely a solid half here by the 4th seed Park. There's Dahmers knocking down a jumper that broke a long deadlock for both teams to start the game there. And then in transition, Mayfield running the floor. He had a really good first half for St. Louis Park. Finished with the layup there. Nice find underneath. Gallinson, the layup plus a foul for the Trojans as they started to get things going a little bit. And then Baumgartner laying it off there for Gross for the layup in transition. Wayzata started to take over for a little while there. They got up to a 9-point lead. There's Mayfield, though, a great steal. And then just goes coast to coast to lay that one in for the Orioles. Lindbergh can shoot the ball, obviously. They did not hit a lot of threes in the first half by their standards. 3 total. He had 1 of them, but had a good first half overall. Here's a nice spin move by Mayfield as he attacked and scored off the glass right there for the Orioles. And Wayzata moving it nicely. Gross, that's not necessarily his biggest role on that team, but when you're wide open like that, you got to take it, and he stepped up and made it. And then a nice offensive board by Howard, getting the last basket of the half, and then he almost made one from half court at the end as well. As we look at our scores, Mayfield with 13 to lead the Orioles, and Lindbergh has 11 points for the Trojans, but not much going so far for Baumgartner. He has 0 points, and he's their leading scorer for Wayzata, so getting him on track will undoubtedly be one thing they want to do. We'll come back with our second half of basketball here on CCX Sports. The winner goes to the section final Wednesday night.
I see you mobbing over her. Let's go. Let's mob. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, we mobbing. Come on, girl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl.
Teams warming up for half number 2 here at Osseo, a 34-32 lead for Wayzata. I think for the most part you have to be, if you're St. Louis Park, you're probably, even though you're down 2, happier with that first half than what Wayzata was.
Oh yeah, all the momentum is in your favor now. I mean, you started off the game well and Wayzata was a little bit down, but then Wayzata came back into it, created a 9-point lead. But then you found yourself getting some defensive stops and getting out there in fast breaks. So if you're Wayzata, one of the things you want to talk about is first your turnovers. You got to take care of the ball better than that. You want to stop those fast break points, because when you look at the end of the game and you start to look at where you lost the game, the first thing you look at is easy scores, fast break opportunities. So they want to stop that, and by not turning over the ball, they can do that. Another thing, they maybe need to go into the low post, give Jensen, give Faust a chance, try to create in that low post. Maybe that'll open up that middle, or maybe open up those 3-point lines. So some questions that they had to ask. Let's see if they can answer them in the second half.
Well, I think one big stat that is directly tied to your point about not playing inside enough. St. Louis Park had 3 fouls total in the first half.
There you go.
That tells you if you're Wayzata, you're not attacking enough.
Right.
And granted, we know that they're primarily a shooting team, but at the same time, you have to get to the line a little bit more.
Championships are always won from the inside out. So if you consider yourself a championship team, you got to throw the ball into the paint.
Benega brings it into the front court here for the Trojans. Baumgartner now to Jensen. Gallinson being hounded there. And almost turned it over, but instead we're going to get a foul call going against St. Louis Park's Howard. And that will be his second personal, first of this half, obviously, on St. Louis Park. But obviously, like I just said, they're in great shape foul-wise. Even though that is number 2 on Howard, it's not a problem at all for them at this point. Baumgartner to Benega. Kicks it back out. Baumgartner driving it. Benega from the baseline, and that's good for 3.
Coming out second half, first offensive attack. Excellent patience there. A dribble drive right there by Benega. Baumgartner, another dribble penetration, and Benega able to spot up around those three-point line.
Mayfield around to Whitlock. They look to Doherty and missed that one, and Benega out of there with it. And knocked away from behind. Here come the Orioles back the other direction. Mayfield off the glass and good. I think Wayzata felt like Mayfield got more arm than basketball when swatting that one loose, but they did not spot it.
He got away with one. He got away with one there.
3-point lead here for the Trojans. Gallinson will shoot the three and spins out. Mayfield looking to push. Howard to the edge of the lane and then gets the return. Here's Mayfield. They do a nice job getting into their sets pretty early. I mean, everybody's where they should be, and they get that ball moving.
When you're smaller, you can do that. You know, it's a little bit easier when you're bigger. You know, big guys have a tendency to float to the paint. But when you're playing with guards, they understand that you have to have proper spacing to open up that paint as they're looking inside. Just unfortunate. He had Dahmers in the paint there. He just missed him.
Lost it on the way in on the drive there, Doherty. Wayzata really packing it in when there's penetration. Not a lot of room to get to the hoop. Gallinson leaving it over and off the glass and good. Baumgartner finally gets his first basket of the game. A little pick and roll there for the Trojans.
And they need to. I mean, you know, they got to get their leading scorer involved. He's going to have to be a little selfish, okay? This is potentially the last game of the season, so he's going to have to be a little bit more aggressive, maybe a little bit more selfish in this second half.
Benega into traffic, fortunate to keep possession there. Benega will stop and fire, and he hits a three.
He's 3 for 3 this game now, as the Orioles called their timeout. If you try to go under on Benega, he's going to make you pay as he gives the give and go there, as we see Baumgartner finish with that left hand on that layup. But any time you go under on Benega, he's going to make you pay.
So the sophomore doesn't play like a sophomore. He's at 11 points here for the Trojans.
Old basketball soul, that kid.
Yep, grew up in a basketball family too, and he had a brother, Johnny, that was on the team, in recent years here. That was a really good player for them, and I'm guessing that he learned some throughout. It just kind of trickles down when you go against your big brother and his friends.
Sometimes you can't fight that DNA. It's just in you. It's in your blood. And so he's been the benefactor of, playing against older brothers who are very, very competitive. And all that stuff, it just filters into you. You don't know where you got it from. You don't know how it happened. But just playing against your brothers, that's how you become a better player.
Orioles basketball here. They're back down by 8 now. The margin got to this and a little bigger in the first half. Oh, is that a little 1-3-1?
Yeah, half court 1-3-1, changing it up.
Howard on the drive, left it just short. Big battle for the rebound, and Lindbergh comes out of there with it for the Trojans. Gallinson then lost it. Howard took it away. Dahmers is the trailer. That's a charge.
All day. There's Baumgartner. He was waiting on it. He saw the play happening before it actually happened. Anytime you got the big fella like Dahmers just running down the paint, out of control, you just want to set up camp, square your shoulders up, and just sell out and take the charge.
A lot of block charge calls are hard. That one was there, no doubt. He was there and ready and waiting for it, and paid the price too. Dahmers is not a small guy.
No, he is not.
Benega dishing it over. Jensen. Benega will turn and fire, and he hits. This one's a 2. But still an impressive look there as he took that handoff and just let it fly. 10-point lead, Wayzata, their biggest.
Here we are in a section semifinal, and the young fella stepping up for his team in the second half there. You gotta love that if you're the coach, because that means you just have a bright future. And the one thing you always want is to have a heady, smart point guard who can run your team.
Howard with it on the baseline here for the Orioles. Now they have to bring it out high and restart here. Kind of a big possession for them, I think. They want to try to cut this momentum a little bit. Whitlock will shoot it up, too strong. Benega back the other way.
Oof.
Baumgartner, a long pull-up, and it's good for 3.
Wow, that was about 3 feet off the line, but here he's gone. Now he's scored, what, 5 points now in this second half. Orioles, they have to locate him. I mean, there's some people you can leave open, maybe Jensen. He's a guy maybe that you can leave open around the perimeter, but right now, with him playing at the 4 position, it's going to open up space for Wayzata to find shooters around that perimeter.
13-point lead. Here's Whitlock penetrating, but missed it. Gallinson coming back the other way. Baumgartner grabs it back for Lindbergh, and that one is short. Howard leading the break for the Orioles. Over to Mayfield. Waits for the defender to come down and lays it in. Much needed basket there for the Orioles.
Absolutely. This thing now at 11. They don't want it to get out of hand just in the first, 5-6 minutes of the half. They got to make sure that they take care of the ball, work the ball around the perimeter, and don't go under screens on these Wayzata shooters. They will make you pay.
Gallinson a long 2 there for the Trojans. It's 49-36. Ooh, boy, that might have been an over and back, or it was close anyway. Mayfield into the lane, forces up a tough shot, and it's way short. Park getting a little bit impatient the last couple possessions, and that's partly because Wayzata's defended well.
Wow.
Here's Benega, a long one. That was way too hard.
But you know, Jay, looking at these baskets with that wall right behind the basket, the depth perception makes you feel like you can shoot from that distance.
Whitlock into the lane and back out. Morrow will shoot a 3, no good. Lynch trying to get to that rebound, and then a foul is going to be called on Lynch as he fell into the legs of the Wayzata player.
Coach Brighton Bucher, he's going to have to try to change something up here, okay? Wayzata, they've gotten a read on him. They understand that now their guards are going to be trying to pressure them full court. So he might have to, throw a small wrinkle in here and try to change something up, give Wayzata a different look.
Dahmers comes back in after a short rest here for the Orioles. Paulson is in handling the ball here for Wayzata. Faust is in as well. Faust set the screen, and then Faust will be called for the charge as Morrow did a good job of preparing himself to be run over a little bit, just like at the other end we saw. That one was a little bit closer. I don't know.
Yeah, that was, I don't know about that. Didn't look like he was in proper defensive position there, but they just called a foul right there on Dahmers a couple minutes ago, so they rewarded the Orioles with the same call as well.
Mayfield kicking it over to Morrow. He's not been hitting those. I'm not sure if, that's typically the shots he makes, but today has not looked particularly good on the threes.
He's got Hempel running at him at 6'5". That's not an easy look there.
Hempel giving it over to Paulson. Gallinson with Mayfield on him. Now Hempel, and there's a steal. Morrow did a nice job. Good hands there, and he draws a foul on Faust. He knew there wasn't much room. He said, I'm just going to kind of throw myself in here, and Faust fouled him.
Yeah, big fella got that steal there. He's only 6 foot tall, but he's got meat and potatoes too, so you can see the whole time he was thinking, I'm going to get contact and try to, provocate a little foul there and see if the referee will blow a whistle in my favor.
4th foul on Faust. That one was kind of just in the wrong spot at the wrong time kind of thing, but they interchange he and Jensen, so they've got, obviously 10 fouls total between them. Jensen will come back in right now. So one more coming here from Morrow after he makes the first. And he makes a pair. So Morrow now 3 out of 4 at the line. Every little thing they can do to get back in it is going to help, including make free throws. Green falls down there. Now Lindbergh to the baseline. Back out for Paulson for a 3, and it's good.
Paulson answers the crowd. They were wooing over the fall, and now Paulson steps back And it's just amazing. Our two sophomores here, Jake. Our two sophomores are really stepping up for their team in this semifinal section game.
14-point lead, Green trying to answer but can't do it. Wayzata threatening to really seize control of this one even more. Paulson, a reverse dribble, well defended by Green, but he gets it back out. Gallinson thought about it, instead goes to Hempel, cutting. He is fouled by Dahmers. That'll be the third on Ryan Dahmers. Did a good job, though, to not give up an easy bucket there, which probably would have happened.
Yep, but Wayzata, they run that offense where they down screen on the baseline, and if you can't get the catch and shoot for a shot, they'll curl that screen really aggressive. And at Hempel, at 6'5", looks like he's about 210 pounds. He knows how to finish around the rim or at least get a foul.
He gets the free throw to roll in. First free throw they've shot here in the second half, and as I talked about it, they only had one free throw in the first half. And again, knowing that, you know, Wayzata's game is generally a jump shooting kind of team, but still important, especially when you get in these playoff games. They're slugfests a lot of times. They're physical and they're battles, and you have to be able to get points that way also.
You know, Wayzata, that's football school, so those guys aren't afraid of contact. They got big, strong kids in many of their athletic programs, so.
16-point Wayzata lead. St. Louis Park has found offense hard to come by. They've only got 2 baskets here in the second half, both by Mayfield.
And really in the first half, he was the one who was keeping him in the game. So they got to find someone else who can maybe score, take some of that pressure off Mayfield, because he's going to wear down playing against these Wayzata players. They're too big, too physical. So someone else has to step up and score for this team.
Connor Cornell, number 33, is in there for the first time for Park. He had the ball a moment ago. Baseline drive, but cut off. Back out. Mayfield had Hempel come at him and close out. Doherty will pull up, short on the rim. You get the feeling they're just kind of settling for shots ultimately, because Wayzata is not giving up anything easy. Paulson for 3, and he hits another.
Come on, the 2 sophomore guards just stepping up. Both of them 3 for 3 from the 3-point line. Here's Wayzata. Hempel with the good catch and kick out there as Paulson gets his, not maybe a shot that looks pretty, but Wayzata, they work on it. And sometimes when you work on it, you put in the reps. Doesn't matter what your shooting technique looks like. All you need is to see that ball go through that basket repetitively, and then sometimes what happens, it just becomes natural, becomes just very, very easy.
57-38, biggest lead here for the Trojans as they have really seized control. You know, if you're just joining us, you think, well, okay, maybe not a surprise, #1 seed, but the first half was tight all the way, and Park fell behind by 9, but battled right back, and we're within 2 at halftime. I mean, it looked like a toss-up game at that point. So far in the second half, though, it's really been all Wayzata.
You know, Wayzata just taking care of the ball. That'll do wonders for you if you can just own every possession. And St. Louis Park not able to get any steals, not able to get in ball line and get any transition shots. And it doesn't help also that Wayzata is really stroking the ball from the 3-point line.
I think it shows, too, that Wayzata is a pretty veteran team. You know, at halftime, it would have been easy to go in at halftime and be kind of upset and maybe pointing fingers a little bit where we're not doing this right, we're not doing that right, but they didn't seem to come out with any panic at all in the second half.
And even with some of the calls from the referees that weren't going in their favor, no one was moaning and groaning at the referees. They stayed focused and engaged, and now it's paying off for them. That's offensive, yep.
Howard will be called to the foul as Benega shuffled his feet to get in front.
And Benega understood what was taking place. The last 3 or 4 plays, they've been trying to isolate him on this 45 or right here at this angle. And he anticipated that was going to happen, a one-on-one move. Slid his feet and got his shoulder square and took charge.
Jensen down low. Baumgartner fakes and lays it in. So he's come alive in the second half. 7 points for him, and Wayzata threatening to really put this one away early. Doherty with it on the baseline.
And that's why it's so important to develop low post play, because when the shot's not going, you have to be able to throw the ball inside.
Jensen called for the foul. Another look at this one.
There's Baumgartner just using basketball fundamentals. Pump fake. Everyone flies on a pump fake, especially young players. Baumgartner taking advantage of the young Oriole team.
Lofted up there, and Howard wins the battle for that one. Coach Schnettler, I think, has to be pleased with his defense more than anything here in the second half. There just would not have been a lot of space to do much for the Orioles. That went off the bottom of the rim, but then Doherty is there to clean it up.
Wayzata does a great job is they play a packing defense. They play three-point line and under. So if you beat anyone off the dribble drive, there will be Jensen there to help. There will be Faust there to contest any kind of layup.
Jensen out to Hempel from the baseline, and he hits. And their bench players have come in and done a solid job. Really, all four of them that have played have contributed in certain ways. 61-40, Wayzata looking good to advance to the championship. Ooh, a nice move there by Mayfield, but left it short. Baumgartner snares the rebound. Baumgartner driving. Howard jabbed it away from behind, but it'll stay with Wayzata. Dahmers comes back in for Park. Gallinson and Lindbergh back in for Wayzata. Jensen giving it to Baumgartner in the post. Nice. Left it over to Gallinson, and he was fouled by Dahmers.
The thing I like about Wayzata, even when they dribble and they pick up their dribble and it's a dead ball, immediately somebody cuts. And I see it, so I'm thinking that they work on that because they execute it to perfection. Every time someone picks up a dribble, they don't panic. They just backdoor cut, and they always get open layups.
Free throws good by Gallinson. Must be NBA jersey day for the Wayzata fans over there. We got a few in on him. Gallinson makes a pair. It was a very nice Golden State Warriors jersey there that Bryson Wilkins had on, the wrestler football player for Wayzata. However, I saw that the Warriors did not win against the Minnesota Timberwolves last night. Nice victory for the Wolves.
Oh, awesome victory.
Chased down by Lindbergh, and now it's starting to feel inevitable here. Park just not able to get much going offensively, and Wayzata building on a 21-point lead, but there's Benninga almost lost it, then Gallinson almost lost it, but now Lindbergh is wide open for a three. Oh, in and out. Green back the other way for Park. Howard will kick it over to Whitlock. A little trouble with it, then puts up a floater, no good. And Gallinson will rebound.
And for the Orioles, they usually rely on Whitlock to score from him, but he's had a tough night.
Whoa, nice finish by Baumgartner, swooping in as the trailer and lays it in.
It's amazing. Baumgartner only 0 points at halftime, and now he's got 9. He might get his average tonight.
Doherty spins baseline, but Jensen was there to help. Green driving into the lane, no good. Baumgartner rebounds. Now Gallinson. Coach says pull it back out, but Baumgartner's going to shoot it up, and that's an air ball. Jensen saying, hey, come on, I was ready for a rebound. You got to at least hit the rim. There's Green in and out there.
You just can't buy a basket. Can't buy a basket.
Now,
so that's why they need to change up some defense here. They have to change something because they're down 25 here, and they can't keep giving Wayzata the same look. They have to change something. Coach Schnettler, he understands what's going on. He's got the read on him, and so he calls a timeout. He's up 25, so you can imagine what he's saying in his timeout here. But they got to switch up something. The Orioles, they have to use that size and that speed to their advantage, and that means trapping. That means not allowing Wayzata to run offense. They have to mix it up.
Get the feeling that they maybe are running out of gas a little bit too here.
Yeah, they are.
And when things aren't going your way too, it just kind of adds to that effect.
And there's something to be said when you play against size. Okay, Wayzata has size and they're powerful, but they also have speed. That will wear you down over a course of a game. And so the first half, they hung in there as much as possible, but that size, that speed will wear you down eventually.
Coach Breitenbucher trying to get his guys to still believe, get back into it. I mean, obviously at this point with this time remaining, it's going to be a tall order, but the only way you can do it is chip away a little at a time, get stops, get hoops.
I'm just wondering when Coach Schneller is going to maybe go to the bench even deeper, because you don't want to get anybody injured. You're up 25, and God forbid, something silly happens where a guy like Baumgartner steps on someone's ankle and rolls it. Sometimes that makes a difference in winning championships.
I think he got probably a good couple minutes there before he feels really comfortable too, because you don't want to leave the game feeling like you were just letting a team come back on you either, I think.
But worst case scenario, you just play stall ball. You just run an offense that you milk the clock. There's no shot clock, so you put out 5 guys who know how to move the ball. You should be fine.
Temple missing inside there. Howard keeps the drive going and blocked though by Hempel. It will be St. Louis Park ball. Hempel just kind of waited on him there because he knew he was going to have to come back to that right hand and expose the ball to him a little bit. Baumgartner got a tip on that one, and they're saying it hit the back of the backboard, but I don't think it did. Yeah, it should be Wayzata ball. The official closest had a better look there. Yeah, it was just tipped by a player. It didn't hit anything else. So this time Baumgartner will bring it up court here. That's another luxury they have, as they, obviously Benega or Paulson are their primary guys to bring it up, but Lindbergh is capable of doing it, so is Baumgartner. And they turn it over. Lynch up with it here for Park. Down low, Dahmer's lost it in traffic. Things getting really rough right now. Wow.
Well, the Orioles have to mix it up. They have to find some way, try to chip away at this lead. This clock is just ticking. It's their worst enemy. Nice move, big fella.
Dahmer's couldn't get it to drop though, and Hempel will rebound it here for Wayzata. As we tick down toward 4 minutes to go. Trojans by 25. Looks like they'll be moving on to play either Hopkins or Cooper. And we get a foul call there against Green of St. Louis Park. Mayfield will come back in for the Orioles. Faust will come back in for Wayzata. And that was team foul number 7. So now it will be bonus time for Wayzata as Benega will head to the line. Free throw, no good, but Faust wins the battle for it, and we will get a tie-up, and it will be St. Louis Park basketball.
You wonder if Coach Breitenbucher is thinking about his seniors. It's their last game. You're down 25. This will be their last high school game. So guys like Howard, as he just fouled out, maybe Green, Morrow, Coronel, Lynch, might want to put them on the floor and just allow them to have that last moment of glory.
Step back by Morrow is good for 2. That is his first basket. He has 5 points total. Baumgartner will kick it over to Lindbergh, and normally that'd be a shot he would take, but they want to work a little clock here. Benega almost lost it, but gets it back. Gallinson for 3, no good, and out off of Faust. And here comes Cornell back in for St. Louis Park.
Looks like Coach just did that. He's putting in his seniors, giving them an opportunity to finish strong here.
Dahmers will shoot it up, no good, and rebound tipped out to Gallinson. Benega handing it over. Now Lindbergh. 2:50 remains. Benega will swing it way across. Baumgartner drive, tried to dish it, but it was tipped away. They did succeed in using some clock, though. Cornell will shoot that ball up, no good, and rebound by Baumgartner for the Trojans. So 65-42 lead. Wayzata just wanting to grind out the rest of the clock here and advance to the championship Wednesday night. Our CCX crew will be back on hand for that section final as the Trojans will take on either Hopkins or Cooper. Benega fouled as he tried to cut between a double team there. Richard Green will pick up the foul. And no good on the free throw, but Baumgartner sneaks in to tip it to himself, and they get the possession again.
You got Benega with almost 4 3-pointers, but can't knock down free throws. He's going to kick himself after the game right now. He has 11 points, but he's left 3 points on the table. And, you know, as young players, we like those points.
And Lynch called for the foul as I think Baumgartner wanted an exclamation point, try and dunk that one, and Lynch wasn't going to concede anything there. Free throw is good. Gross will come back in. Lindbergh gets a hand from the Wayzata fans. He more than likely will be done for the day. Second one also good there for Baumgartner. So after a scoreless first half, got a strong second half with 11. Cornell shooting it up, no good. Gross out of the pack with it. Gallinson drives and then he's cut off and fouled.
You know, Wayzata, I mean, they have been tremendous in this second half. I think the halftime score was 32-30. And yours?
34-32.
34-32. So
yeah, but
they had
margin,
32 points and, you know, only 10 points in the whole second half. I mean, that's impressive right there. That's called playing defense. All right, here he goes. Coach Sneller's going to go deep into his bench now. Give some young players an opportunity and some exposure playing at the section game.
Luke Mianas will come in for the Trojans. Theo Walter as well. Also, yeah, Walter checking in now after the free throw by Gallinson. Jumper won't go there. Howard grabs the rebound.
As we're sitting here listening to the crowd, the Wayzata crowd screaming they want Hopkins. They're looking to take revenge from that last loss in Hopkins that they had. It was the last loss that Wayzata had during the regular season. And Hopkins, you know, Wayzata was up the whole entire game, but Hopkins really fought back to take that lead and eventually win that game. So that's going to be, if that takes place, let's say if Hopkins beats Cooper, that's going to be a barn burner right there because there's a little bad blood, let's say.
Well, and I think, you know, in past years you would kind of say, yeah, that you shouldn't really be poking the giant Hopkins. But these last 2 years, Wayzata's beaten them a couple times. I don't think they're not intimidated by Hopkins anymore at all.
Oh, no. I mean, Wayzata, they feel like, you know, we want to be the kind of program that Hopkins has been for the past, you know, decade to 20 years, you know, with Coach Novak. So Wayzata, they want Hopkins. And that's what you want your players to feel, that sense of competitiveness that if you want to be the man, you got to beat the man.
Paulson driving, had it knocked away but out of bounds. More subs for Wayzata now. Riley McGreen, number 10, will come in. Also Tanner Jonas, number 32.
The JV swing players, that's who they are. So it's good to always, and I'm sure these kids, they love it because, you know, you never know if you're going to get your opportunity to play in an important game like tonight.
Left a little short there by Walter. And under a minute to go now. Cornell will shoot it up there and just graze the rim with that one. Paulson coming back the other way for the Trojans. And the three put up and in by Riley McGrane.
Wow, they just have reserves who can stroke it from the outside. But that's Wayzata. I've paid attention to Wayzata for the last couple years, and Coach Schneller's doing an excellent job in terms of preparing these kids. These kids have actually gotten better every year. They become better shooters, passers, defenders. They look like a well-oiled machine.
And that little jumper in by Tanner Jonas. Morrow with the answer try there, missed it. Howard runs it down, nice feed underneath, and the layup is good by Lynch. His first bucket. But that's going to do it for our ball game as Wayzata dominates the second half to win it 73-46 after what appeared to be a very close first half. They blew it open and stormed to victory here in half two.
You know, it's just amazing what they did. I mean, you know, holding the Orioles to 14 points. So I don't know what Coach Schnettler said in that locker room, but it worked.
We'll be back to wrap things up here in a moment from Osseo as the Trojans move into the Section 6 title game.
Oh, look, a redhead.
Staring contest.
You still got it.
I know.
Come alive with the forest.
The dad was cute.
You were looking right at us.
Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
Welcome back here to Osseo as Wayzata advances to the Section 6 title game with a strong second half to really put St. Louis Park away, 73-46. We're with a couple of the Trojans that helped to get it done. Jacob Benninga, you know, what was the big difference in that second half? They played you real tough in the first, and you guys just kind of controlled things in the second.
At halftime, we really talked about the mindset of stepping on them and not letting them get back in this game, because we know how hard we've worked, and we really want to see this come through.
Everybody loves to talk about, you know, shooting, three-pointers or backdoor cuts or whatever, but how big was your defense here in this one?
It was huge for us. Like we were saying at the end, we only allowed 12 points at the end in the second half, and I think that was huge for us and allowing our shooting to really carry us through for the second half.
Coach was talking about how in this gym a year ago you guys were upset in the semifinals. Did that kind of motivate you coming in to be ready and be sharp?
That was one of the big motivators. He came in saying, make some new memories here, make good memories here, and we thought we did that today.
All right, good luck in the championship game. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
And Ryan Lindbergh, one of the seniors in this Trojans program, and I thought your team, you know, played a decent first half, but you didn't panic at all when they were staying right with you. Is that because of the experience this group has?
Yeah, I mean, we play a lot of seniors on this team, so a lot of experience playing with each other, and we know when we're kind of playing when we're rushing on offense a little too much, and first half we had a little too many turnovers, and we also need to really take a deep breath, and we came out the second half and really buckled down on offense and defense and really played some really good basketball.
You guys have a lot of weapons too. A guy like Gavin didn't score a point in the first half and then comes on strong in the second, but it feels like a team that doesn't need one guy or two guys to always be on too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, we don't need to have the same leading scorer every single game, and a lot of our games this year where there were different leading scorers, or the top two guys were always very different, and that's kind of the mindset that we all buy into on this team, is that just because, you know, some of us are seniors, we don't need to score the most points. If someone has an open shot, we're going to kick them the ball, and if they're feeling it one game, we're going to keep feeding them the rock.
You guys have a great rivalry with Hopkins, but also Cooper beat you in this tournament last year, so do you have a preference who you get?
I mean, no preference either way. Obviously, we split with Hopkins, so if we play them, it's going to be a nice rubber match for the section final, but it'd be nice to get a shot at Cooper again, especially in this gym from last year, and just some bad memories obviously left here. So it'd be nice to get them back and hopefully put up a W.
Ryan, enjoy this win. We'll see you back here Wednesday.
Thank you.
Ryan Lindbergh, otherwise Wayzata Trojans, as they take care of business in the second half and really put St. Louis Park away. It was a 2-point game at halftime, but it ends up 73-46 in favor of Wayzata. That'll do it for this first semifinal. You can also look for the Cooper Hopkins semi on CCX Sports as well. For Ariel McDonald and all of our crew, I'm Jay Wilcox. So long from Osseo.